Hey guys, ZC Network here, coming at you with another video. Cartoonito premiered on Cartoon Network back in the fall of 2021, to be exact, September of 2021, and ever since it premiered on the channel, it's kind of been in a weird spot. You know, a lot of fans have been hating on Cartoonito from the day it premiered, saying it doesn't belong on the channel, with it taking up such a large portion of airtime when it first launched. If you guys remember, Cartoonito initially was airing Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., and then from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays, but soon after Cartoonito premiered, actually about a year ago to be exact, it had lost 19 hours of airtime on Cartoon Network. It lost a significant amount of airtime, it stopped being aired on the weekends at a given point, and now if we look at Cartoonito today, it recently lost even more airtime on the channel. So recently, Cartoonito, as of a few months ago, was airing from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Monday through Fridays, with the weekend block completely being removed. It no longer airs on the weekend as of about a year or so ago. Well, recently Cartoon Network even cut back more on Cartoonito's airtime, because I've noticed on the channel that Cartoonito now only airs from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Mondays through Fridays, so it only airs for 7.5 hours during the week, which is kind of crazy to say given that it started out with so much airtime on the channel. If you take a step back and think about it, on any given Monday through Friday when it first launched, it was airing for more than 7.5 hours, which is what it airs in an entirety of a week today, which is kind of crazy just to think how far Cartoonito has fallen since it first launched. It was airing from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. on a Monday through Friday. Now it's not airing for that amount of time in the entire span of a week. So if we take a step back and look at this new Cartoonito schedule, this new Cartoon Network schedule overall, it's kind of interesting when you think about it, because Cartoonito has always started at 6 a.m. 6 a.m., it goes to Cartoonito, then it goes to Cartoon Network, whatever that block ends. More recently, it was ending at 11 a.m. When it first launched, it was ending at 2 p.m. But now all of a sudden, we go from Adult Swim ending at 6 a.m. going to Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network is on for an hour and a half till 7:30 a.m. Then it switches over to Cartoonito, then back to Cartoon Network at 9 a.m. And then obviously Cartoon Network runs all the way to 8 p.m. when it switches back to Adult Swim. To me, this is really interesting because during the day, like I said, for the entirety of Cartoonito's run, it always started at 6 a.m. But now it's starting at 7:30 a.m. It seems disjointed and weird when you look at it initially. Like when you think about it, when it switches to Cartoon Network and you have an hour and a half of Teen Titans Go and The Amazing World of Gumball, it's kind of weird to then go to Cartoonito, some preschool programming for an hour and a half, and then all of a sudden we're back to watching The Amazing World of Gumball and Teen Titans Go on Cartoon Network. I think the reason why they're doing this is quite simple. When you wake up, at least I know when I was a kid going to school, when I would wake up to get ready for school, I would, eat my breakfast, get my backpack together and whatnot, and while I was doing all of this, I would have Cartoon Network on in the background. I would be watching whatever's on Cartoon Network, so I think their new strategy is, okay, from 6 to 7:30 a.m., kids are getting ready for school. So they're eating their breakfast, they're doing whatever they need to do to get ready while watching Cartoon Network. So once those kids go to school, let's air the preschool programming in Cartoonito. I think that's their plan. The only thing I can't really describe or explain to you guys is why Cartoonito ends at 9 a.m. To me, that is just really weird. I don't know why it ends that early. In all honesty, I'm not complaining. I want to just make that clear because I don't like Cartoonito. I am not a fan of it. Obviously, I am not in the preschool market. I'm not a preschooler, so I don't want to see preschool programming on Cartoon Network. But to me, it's just very strange to see that Cartoonito ends at 9 a.m. It just shows you how poorly this block is doing on the channel. And like I said, I've said this in the past. I've seen people say this in the comment sections as well. Cartoonito should be its own channel. That's never going to happen though, because no company is investing in more cable channels right now, given that streaming has been on the rise for a while now. Although streaming's having a bit of its own problems right now, which maybe we'll get into that in another video, but I can't see any company, especially Warner Brothers Discovery, with the state that they're in currently, their financial state that is, I can't see them investing in a brand new channel for Cartoonito. I personally have said this in the past, I personally think that the best place for Cartoonito is on Boomerang, because right now Boomerang isn't really being used for anything. I know this is probably controversial to say. I feel like Cartoonito being on Boomerang is better than it being on Cartoon Network, given that, like I said before, Boomerang's not being used for anything right now. It's just kind of a shell of its former self, just airing Looney Tunes, Scooby-Doo, and Tom and Jerry throughout the day. I feel like having Cartoonito on there for, 3 to 4 hours a day isn't going to really hurt anyone, because how many people are actually watching Boomerang to begin with right now? With all of that being said though, at this point, Cartoonito launched in September 2021, a little bit over a year and a half ago, and to see that it's fallen so much since then, I said this a year ago in my video discussing how it lost 19 hours of airtime. How much longer is Cartoonito even going to be on Cartoon Network at all? I mean, you have to imagine that if it's doing this poorly, if it's lost so much airtime, that it doesn't have much time left on the channel. I mean, I remember at one point, I believe it was towards the end of last year, they were advertising for Cartoonito, specifically Bat Wheels, during Cartoon Network. I remember Cartoon Network would be on and I'd see like a clip for Bat Wheels where I think they were doing some like Christmas special or something, and I was like, oh, it's kind of weird to see this on Cartoon Network, given that Cartoonito's only on in the morning. And I feel like that was just desperation from them. I feel like they're just trying to get as many people to know that, hey, Cartoonito's a thing, please watch it. And then obviously that didn't work, because since that's happened, like I said before, it was airing 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Fridays. Now it's fallen off to only 7:30 to 9 a.m. Monday through Fridays. So I really do wonder how much longer Cartoonito will be on the channel. Is it only a matter of time until this is just a failed experiment that it's completely off of Cartoon Network? I genuinely do wonder that. Will it continue to be a brand? I would imagine yes, because they've invested a lot of resources into Cartoonito and they have a lot of different shows coming out exclusive to Cartoonito, so I think the brand will stay. It might just end up being a landing page on HBO Max. That might end up being the future of Cartoonito. It might have no airtime on Cartoon Network at all whatsoever, no airtime on cable at all, but it's this landing page for preschool programming on HBO Max. And in all honesty, I'd be okay with that. Like I said, I'm not in the preschool market, so if anybody watching this video is in the preschool market and you have kids who are preschoolers, let me know in the comment section below how you guys feel about this. But for me personally, I feel like Cartoonito doesn't really have a home on Cartoon Network. I always felt it was kind of weird to see it come to the channel, and obviously it hasn't been doing well because it's lost a significant amount of airtime since it premiered, and obviously the plans with Cartoonito have drastically changed because of this. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. Are you guys surprised to see that Cartoonito has lost this much airtime in such a short period of time, or were you expecting this from the day that Cartoonito was announced? If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more content like this from DC Network. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.